Hi witches, in today's video we are going to be looking at some ancestor items of mine. We are in the run up to Samhain and I thought it would just be so lovely to share some really personal items of mine and tell you a little bit about the people who own them. Hi witches, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm Ren, I'm known as the Cemetery Witch, and today, as I explained in the intro, we are going to be having a bit of a show and tell of some ancestor items that are really sacred and important to me and hold a lot of memories. We are in the run up to Samhain. This is a profoundly sacred time for many people across the UK and the rest of the world. Many witches, druids, shamans, magical folk. It is a time when we consciously connect with and honour our ancestors, whoever they might be, familial or creative. We give them a heartfelt acknowledgement of them, who they are, and the gifts that they have given to us, often passed down through many generations, sometimes positive, sometimes negative, but you know, they've passed them to us nonetheless. We listen to their whispers of guidance and we tell their stories, which is what I'm doing today. This gives us a real sense of belonging, at least it does me, as we navigate our own journeys through life and death. So I'm going to be showing you 5 items today. They belong to two women who were hugely influential in my life. They inspired me and I shared a lot of time and love with them. So first of all, we have some items from my grandmother. My grandmother was called Dorothy Kate. She was an absolute force to be reckoned with. She was a very determined, strong and feisty woman. I remember her to be very kind though. I loved spending time with my grandmother. She was quite tiny, and when I say tiny, I mean in height. She completely shrunk down, and as she went that way, she went that way. She had 5 children and she lost her husband in the late 1950s. She worked really hard, several jobs at once, to keep her family together at a time when there was no welfare state. So I admire my grandmother so much for what she achieved. She always said she didn't like a fuss, but secretly she did. And yeah, I want to show you the first item, and this is an item that she actually gave to me, and so it's really special. She gave this to me while she was alive. She really wanted me to have it, I think. It's a gold sort of link bracelet. She knew that I didn't wear silver, and I didn't mention this when I received this. There was this sort of silent understanding between us that she really wanted to give this to me. She took it off of her wrist and she gave it to me, so I very gladly and gratefully accepted this. I wore it to her funeral. I wear it at Samhain. Sometimes it just goes on the ancestor altar, and yeah, I'm just really grateful for it. I'm just really proud that in that moment she wanted to give it to me out of, you know, all of her grandchildren. She was giving away things in the period before her death. We all told her, you know, look now, stop giving your things away. You haven't died yet. But there were certain items that she wanted to give to certain people. So I also have a clock that she gave me, and I have a picture. It's not actually displayed in my house. It's up in the loft, but you know, it's safe. I know where it is, and I really appreciate the fact that she gave it to me. I will wear this Samhain, especially when I want to communicate with her, and I will pass this bit of jewellery down. It's not a particularly sort of expensive bracelet, nor is it that nice. It's not something I would buy, but it is so special to me because my grandmother wore it every day and she gave it to me. So I really enjoy wearing this and feeling the spirit of my nan around me. I do have a bracelet that her and my grandfather gave me for my 18th birthday with their names engraved, love nan and granddad, and I enjoy wearing that as well, but this one just seems extra special because it was hers and she chose to give it to me. The next item I want to show you is her Bible. Now, you might think this is a bit of a strange choice for a witch. I don't think that at all. This was hers, and this was actually given to her at her confirmation in 1938. So on this sticker here, it's got who it was presented by, the name of the church, her name, and the date, which was the 28th of November 1938. So it's really, really old. As you can see, the cover is well sort of aged and worn, and it's actually then got another sticker in here where this Bible was then presented to my mum at her own confirmation on the 15th of July 1970. So both my mother and my grandmother have used this Bible. They're not particularly religious, but I just love that this has been kept in the family, and it contains the energy of both my mum and my nan. It lives in my nightstand. It's just there. I know it's there, and I just love feeling the energy of this. It's got some interesting maps in the back. In fact, there is one actually of Palestine in the time of Christ, which is interesting, and it goes on my Ancestor altar at Samhain. Sometimes I get it out and just put it on the side of the bed and just look at it. And sometimes I use it when I want to communicate with Nan, or I feel like she wants to communicate with me. I will put my tarot cards on top of it. Kind of makes me smile at the thought of that. I know some people would not like that, but my tarot cards go on top, and they just sort of absorb the energy of the Bible. And when I'm ready to read, or when I feel that Nan is ready to sort of impart some insights and some knowledge, I will then read my tarot. So yeah, really, really treasured. And I would like to pass this to my daughter when she is old enough to look after it and appreciate it and keep it safe. So moving on now, I have got a few items from my beloved godmother. I've spoken about her a few times over on this channel. We're coming up for 2 years since her death, and I've got some items that one of them she gave to me, and then the rest are from a box of belongings that I was given shortly after she died. She was a real sort of magical figure for me growing up. She, in part, along with my mum's efforts, were what made Christmas really special. And when I look back, I realise it was all the women in my life that made these special times just so magical. I felt really, really understood by her. And so as a teenager, I could tell her most of my darkest secrets or fears, and I never felt judged by her. She was very, very kind, very genuine, very funny. She was a bit naughty. She was quite posh, and she was a lot of fun. She would have been my legal guardian had anything happened to my mum and dad. They had that written into their wills, and she was very, very special to me. She was a safe haven all the way from being a baby right up to being an adult. When I got married the first time, she actually did kind of like a father of the bride speech, but instead a godmother speech, because my father wasn't at my wedding. And yeah, I just absolutely adored her and still do. So she gave me this brooch when I was about 13. It's silver and I think mother of pearl. And she was just getting rid of stuff. If she were alive today, I'm sure she would have forgotten all about this brooch, and I'm sure she wouldn't have imagined that I would hang on to this all this time. But it was so special to me, and still is. It was like sacred treasure. And I've kept it all of these years. I haven't worn it because, as you can see, the clasp is a bit unreliable. It comes undone very, very easily. I guess I could have a new one put on the back. But yeah, I absolutely love this and treasure this so much. And it nods to her love of dragonflies and butterflies. And this year, I really, really struggled in the run up to her birthday, which is just a few days before mine. And I had several butterfly experiences, and I like to think that it was her just coming to say hello and to tell me that she's still around. The sort of final butterfly experience I had was when I was out with my husband and one of our daughters, and somehow they managed to walk right past this butterfly that was on a path. Thankfully, they didn't squish her. And I bent down, I saw her, and I bent down and offered her my hand. And she just climbed up onto my hand and stayed with me basically for as long as I wanted. In the end, I actually encouraged her to go. Normally butterflies, you get anywhere near them and they just fly off, but this one just climbed onto my hand, and she was with me for 20 minutes easily, and I felt like she would have been with me all day if I'd chosen that. So yeah, that was really, really lovely, and I'm feeling a bit better about everything and hoping that there will be more butterfly experiences. The next thing I want to show you is some Russian dolls, or matryoshka, and they were in the box of belongings that I was given. No explanation, I'm just assuming this was something that Sally liked and enjoyed. I love how they've got this sort of like canal art almost on the back that is meaningful to me. And this is just very typical of Sally, I would say. She really liked knickknacks and jewellery and pretty things. And I feel like these are quite symbolic of Sally's spiritual beliefs. There's some simplicity here. We're all connected, you know, the dolls sit one inside each other, and just this idea of like one love and one universe. I feel closer to her when I see this, and it kind of reminds me of the sort of childhood fun that was always present when Sally was around, whether I was a child or a grown-up. The doll in the middle of these, there's 5 dolls, is absolutely tiny and just so very cute and just so typically Sally. So yeah, I love having these in my home where I can just look upon them. The last thing that I want to show you is a book called The Wish Gatherers by Karen Celestine, and this again was in the box of belongings I was given. And this is, when I read this book for the first time, having received this book, this is when I realised that my godmother was actually a witch. She never would have used that term, not because she didn't like it, but because I think it didn't even really occur to her that she was a witch. She was a member of White Eagle Lodge, which is a spiritual organisation which isn't based on religion but on ancient wisdom that sort of predates all, really. Quite hard to describe. It was a very gentle and profound spirituality that she had and that they offer and profess. She shares their belief that all people are celestial beings ultimately, and that organisation offers healing and astrology. They're really into meditation. They offer spiritual support, very, very gentle. And again, like, I think this is why she wouldn't have thought herself as a witch. And I see her as a witch because she's a woman, and I think all women are witches. But this book and the themes in this book really make me think that she was. So it is a seasonal book. It's about the period between Lunasa, or Lammas as they call it in this book, and the autumn equinox. It's about hopes and dreams and wishes. It's about warmth and kindness, and it's about reincarnation. And I could barely read it for the first time because, you know, I was crying so much. It is one of my most treasured books now, and it has just given me a better understanding of my beloved godmother. And I've learned so much about her from the items that I've received. This book was a real aha moment, and so have, you know, the other items. I've had some angel cards and books on angels and crystals and essential oils, stuff like that. And what I have learned about her has just made her more and more magical. I think when we're children and we look up to the adults around us and family and friends of our parents, stuff like that, I think that then as we grow into an adult, we work out a lot of things. We realise, you know, that they did make mistakes, they did get things wrong, and that they were just doing their best like we are. But for Sally, the more I've learned about her growing up and becoming an adult, and since her death, has just made her, it's made me realise how magical she was, and she's just become more and more magical. And that really is a testament to Sally's character, really, to be honest, and the very special person that she was. So anyway, those are my very special items. I will be really sort of concentrating on those and feeling the energy of those and immersing myself in those as we get closer and closer to Samhain. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a real honour to share these with you guys, and I would really love to hear about your ancestors, special memories, special items perhaps that they gave you or you were given or have come your way. I would love to hear about your connection to them at Samhain. I'd love to hear anything that you want to share with us. Thank you so much for watching.